let's talk about these quotes from Sonny. Some nice quotes in here from Sonny. First of all, he's talking about Harry Kane and Kane winning his first trophy of his career. And he says, I texted Kane and we ended up having a video call. He looked really happy, and seeing that made me so happy too. He's a very close friend and teammate who I've achieved many things with. So I felt like seeing him as a I look at him as seeing a family member succeed. And that kind of positive energy and Kane supporting us, I hope Tottenham can achieve great things this season too.
Which is nice. Yeah, obviously it would be so poetic if Kane and Spurs both break their trophy duck in the same season. It'd be classic, but shame that just Kane couldn't do it here at Tottenham.
Massive shame. And he says, on the club, he reveals why the reason he stayed at Tottenham. And he said, I've said this for many years, the biggest reason I've stayed at Tottenham is because I want to achieve something others haven't. That's why I'm still here, to complete a puzzle. You need every piece, right? I feel like we've put almost all the pieces together, but we've always been missing that one final crucial piece. It feels like I've spent the past 10 years searching for it, and I really hope that this time we can finally complete the puzzle.
Yeah, and that's obviously something that we know Sonny's desperate for, and we know that he said himself he's gearing towards his cup final. He's trying to get himself ready for this cup final because he knows the opportunity that's there, and he, as he's saying, it might not come again. So we know that Sonny is, like, he's been so loyal to Tottenham, and it kind of implies that if he would have won a trophy earlier, he might have left, but he's kind of stayed because he hasn't. But do you reckon that what he's saying there means if we win against United, he's going to leave?
Could very well mean that, you know, because it does feel like, as much as I want Sonny to stay, it does feel like we're coming to the end of a cycle, whether it be like this, the end of this season or the end of next season. I don't think he signs a new contract. We've triggered the extension that will go until the end of next season, but I think that will be it. Like, I can't see him staying any longer, and if he does go and win the trophy this summer, then I feel like he'll probably feel like, look, my job's done here.
But if he doesn't, he might stay for another year to try and win it. Yeah, which is an interesting dichotomy, how to feel about that. But if that is the case anyway...
it's better to go out on a high than go out on a low, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just a shame that Kane didn't feel the same way, that he wanted to stay until he won a trophy. Sonny felt that.
I think Kane obviously was desperate to win a trophy here, but he felt like he couldn't. That's the difference. Sonny just has maybe more higher hopes than Kane about the club, and maybe he's more of a dreamer than Harry Kane.
Well, I'm just saying, I understand that. I'm sure Kane did want to win a trophy, but I'm saying Sonny is saying he decided to stay at Tottenham until he does. And it's sad that Kane didn't feel the same, or maybe he just felt like it was an impossible job and he just had to get out of here and go to a bigger club. But so is it fair to say that Sonny loves Tottenham more than Kane?
Is it fair to say Sonny loves Tottenham more than Kane? I mean, it's a difficult one, seeing as Harry Kane grew up an Arsenal fan, probably. And he's talking about the final as well, and he says, every match is special to me and I value each one the same, but this upcoming game feels like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, something that may never come again. That's why I believe I need to put all my focus into it, prepare my body for it, and give it everything I have. I don't want to have any regrets this time, especially for the fans who want this even more than I do. I truly want to give them joy. When I head back to Korea after the season ends, I want to give our Spurs fans and Korean fans the biggest smile I can. That would be the greatest gift I could give. You know what though, like, it does frustrate me a little bit that all the Spurs, like a lot of Spurs players, I've seen a lot of interviews over the past week, and they're all saying like this could be like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And like, for a club like us, who've obviously won European majors before, that shouldn't be I know we've been really poor over the past 5 years, but that shouldn't be the kind of narrative at this football club where you get to a Europa League final and that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I do agree with that. I agree with what you're saying. I think there's been a number of players that are saying, you know, you get to a final, you don't know how many finals you're going to get to. And like, these are young players saying, a lot of them, I know it's not Son necessarily, obviously, him it is.
Brennan Johnson said it yesterday.
Yeah, but there's a few, I think Vicario said it as well. I think Sonny's a different case because obviously this is potentially his last final at Tottenham and this might not come again. And that's genuine. But I think when it comes to players like Vicario, like Brennan, there's I can't remember who else, but there's probably a sense around the squad if enough players are saying it. And I don't like that kind of mentality, especially when younger players who've got their whole career ahead of them.
I think Ange said it as well.
Well, Ange was saying that we haven't been in many European finals, which is absolutely true. And obviously we haven't been in, this is the first one since 2019, second one in 40 years.
Yeah.
The last final at all we went in was 2021 under Mason. We haven't been in any final since then. So it's our first final in 4 years. So, I mean, it is true. It's not like we get into finals every year, but it shouldn't be like that. These players should be ambitious enough to think we can compete every year and get into finals every year. And this should just be the start for them, rather than something that anything's been leading to, because this shouldn't be a rare occurrence. That shouldn't be their mentality. I completely agree with that. And so it's a bit of a weird one to hear a lot of them say, you don't know how many European finals you're going to be in, and you have to take the opportunity when it comes. But then again, on the flip side, when an opportunity does present yourself and you are in a final, like, there are no guarantees you are going to be in one again. That is true. And so when you are there and the trophy is there to be won, you can't think that next season you're just going to be in another final. Like, you have to have, maybe it is the right mentality to have, like, you don't know when that next final is going to come, so you have to make sure you take this final and you take that trophy, because it is true, especially when you are at Tottenham, you don't know when the next one's going to come. But I don't like that is the mentality, because if it was a City player saying that, or Arsenal player or whatever, they wouldn't be saying these things.
Yeah, I mean, to go into a game with that kind of attitude, to play the game like it's your last game ever, give your all like you've never given it before. Obviously, that's what we want, but we still want the players to have the ambition to feel like we win it, we lose it, we're going to be here again in the near future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd like them to think that, for sure. I don't want them to think like if we lose this final, they're never going to get to another one, because that would show a lack of belief, in my opinion. So I agree with that.
Yeah.